Welcome back to the Pyramid Model training. This is Module 1, Part 2, High Quality Supportive Environments. Please make sure that you have everything you need for this session, including 6 different colored markers and a copy of what a typical schedule would look like for you. So if you're not in school right now, copy of a most recent schedule, or maybe a schedule you're thinking about when you return to school. We have looked at many ways in which the environment can be planned to promote social emotional development and prevent challenging behaviors, especially as it relates to physical design and environmental cues. Now we're going to focus on schedules and routines, transitions, and promoting engagement. We will often talk about visual supports. Why? Because visuals can be very helpful for communicating to young children. Often, children with challenging behavior have a difficult time processing and using language, or may have developed the habit of tuning out the adult when the adult is speaking. A visual provides the child with a static symbol of the word or idea. When we say words, they disappear once we have completed our verbal expression. When you present a visual, the visual can be held out for the child to examine and process. Early educators use many visuals in their classroom. You might label centers with pictures, place pictures on bins to depict the contents that will be found inside, and you may use pictures to help children make the link between a visual symbol and word. The suggestions that you will find in this section are providing ideas for ways to use visuals in the support of individual children or groups of children. So visual strategies can cue or teach positive behavior or new skills. Visual strategies support both receptive and expressive communication. So receptive is what the child understands, and expressive is what they can express to you. Visual strategies enhance memory. They're actually a reminder for verbal direction. Visual strategies can portray expectations such as washing hands, stop. Visual strategies also teach routines. You can have activity steps through pictures. So we will be looking at all of these in this session. We have talked about many elements of the classroom environment that promotes children's engagement. There are resources on the challengingbehavior.org website called What Works Briefs, and here's one of them: using environmental strategies to promote positive social interactions. These are wonderful resources for teachers and families, and I highly recommend you put What Works Briefs into the search engine and see all the different topics where you can get some ideas. Before we move on to schedules and routines, we're going to watch a video on strategies one classroom found to increase children's engagement by including children and families in a very creative project.
In the beginning of the year, we send out a survey to families, and it says basically what sort of areas does your child know. We chose the dramatic play topic based upon that research that we received from our families.
And it seemed like the grocery store is one of the places that kids know, that they all have visited before. So we really wanted to start from the basics.
And it was also a place that there could be multiple roles in dramatic play. We knew we were going to web with the children to really find out what the children know about the grocery store.
What do we do at the grocery store? Things that they have seen at the grocery store, things that they buy at the grocery store.
Do I have to do anything? I just take the food with me.
No, you have to pay.
Oh, I have to pay with what? What does that mean?
We found a video on the internet. So for the kids that have not go to a grocery store, then at least they get the idea of what it is and how it looks like.
Because I see the shopping carts and I can also read, and right here it says Whole Foods, okay? So that way I know, oh, foods.
They sell food here.
I see an F.
It was a great way for the children to visually have something that they could see prior to playing in the actual grocery store.
My friends, on the art table, I see some boxes.
Ooh.
Because when we talked about our grocery store, do you see what's in this picture, Kisa?
A grocery store.
A grocery store.
Moving forward was a lot of work, a lot of planning with the kids.
Do we have any money? Do you have any money in your pocket right now?
Yeah.
You do? Do you
Let's
have
see.
money in your pockets? Let me see.
Let's see.
No money.
No money.
What do we have to do? We have to make some money.
We did small groups in tables.
For the children to have lots of hands-on experience creating the props for the grocery store, the signs, a great way to bring in math in terms of money.
And then after you're done making all of your labels, we will put them on blocks, so we will have our own cans.
For the grocery store. I see.
And the kids were able to create every single item and every single sign with numbers, letters, money, everything that comes to having a grocery store in a classroom, they did. So when we did the grand opening, it was really fun. The kids were so excited because we had closed dramatic play for like 2 or 3 days.
We did our initial introduction where myself and my coworkers chose different roles.
And what we did was we model what we do or how we go to the grocery store.
You're welcome. Have a great day. Oh, I appreciate your help.
So now I can make everything I need, and you can just have a seat. I'll make you your
Oh,
cookies.
thank you.
So, my friends, do you see how Miss Sydney had a job? Miss Carla had a job? And Miss Leisha had a job.
That was the way we introduced our grocery store
So,
to the children's before they started playing. So they had the idea of, this is how I play here, or this is what I do at the grocery store.
If you can't role play it, then the children really don't know the different roles that they can play and will only do all of the same thing or all of what they're familiar with. So by choosing the different roles, I think it gave them an example for how they could interact with the items in dramatic play.
Do you want to do the walk now? Yeah.
At the beginning, I would say like the first couple of days, they modeled most of what we have already modeled to them.
When we first introduced it, we actually chose 2 of the older children and 2 of the younger children to start dramatic play. And the younger children often take a step back and let the older children sort of direct the play.
Wait, we're going to do something.
Over there.
You want to come make a picture with me? Yeah, the watercolor.
And then the more familiar they become with different scenarios that they have seen or acted in, they continue to use it again and again. So then they become the ones to direct.
I need to clean up, Patty. Hey, welcome to my store. Welcome to my store.
I think that this grocery store setting really enabled children who don't often play in dramatic play to come in and choose a role.
Here's your money. Thank you.
So, I wrote a word up here. It says market. Quinn, what's a market?
It's when you sell stuff.
It's when you sell stuff.
We noticed actually in the fall that many of the children were talking about going to the fair and what they got at the fair, what they saw at the fair.
And then Leisha and myself thought about it and we were like, wait a minute, maybe we can do a market now because they know what a grocery store is. So now we can go over to a market.
My friends, we are going to have a market, a lot like this craft fair. And we are going to make items and we're going to invite our friends from the blue room, from the green room, from the purple room, from the toddler room, and they are going to come and buy some of the things that we make for them.
We really wanted it to be sort of different mediums, like one would be clay, one would be wood, one would be fabric, just made of different sort of natural materials.
We made pinch pad out of air clay, jewelry using pipe cleaners and beads, sun catchers using glue and food coloring, quilts, and we framed them, wooden pieces, we use real wood.
But we're not going to take them home. We're going to sell them in our market.
The hard part was keeping the items to sell. I think it's a really difficult concept for children that young not to say, I want to take it home to my family. And so as we talked about it over and over and over, the children got really excited that other children were going to come into their classroom, that we were going to set this up, and that they could be experts of each item.
And actually, she made a beautiful necklace. Can you put that on Can you make another one for our market? On the basket?
We have made all of these fabulous things to the market, but how do we get our friends to come to the market?
Many of them have had experience with receiving an invitation for a birthday party.
So we wrote invitations for every classroom. We did small groups again and tables, and each group wrote an invitation with the kids' words.
And then we get to deliver it, which is, they love it, that they get to walk to the classroom and they read the invitation to the teacher, and it was an overall great experience.
So we have an invitation to go to the tea room.
They had their invitation, and so they knew when to come. And each child had a ticket, and we made a pathway leading through the market, and we described to them that they could pick one item per ticket.
And we have market experts that can tell you what we have.
We encouraged them to travel through the whole market so they could really sort of get a lay of the land and see all of the different items that were for sale.
We placed at least 2 children's per center for table, and they were explaining how they made the item, what they used to make the item, what the item was, and it was so beautiful.
Here, let me give you my Look at all your hugs from your tea room friends. Love it.
I think the children had a sense of pride in the final product.
It's always like we have this idea, but they really put more into it.
I heard from many children outside who said this was the best day ever, and this was awesome, and everyone came to our classroom, and I think they also had a sense of pride that another child was taking home an item that they made.
So I really think that by having them be part of our dramatic play and our setup and our hands-on experiences really play a important part of the kids wanting to be in dramatic play.
That the more freedom you give them to create their own items and create based off of their own ideas, it really leads to a more rich play center.
Schedules and routines. So I want you to stop and think about your own schedule. What does your schedule look like on a daily basis? Does it kind of look like the schedule that we have up on this slide? That children are arriving at 8:15, and then it goes through all the spots of the day. So I think what's important is we want to balance the activities. So there's a mix of small group and large group activities and a mix of teacher-directed and child-directed activities. So when we're teaching children the routines, we can't expect children to follow the routine if we don't teach it to them. So that's why schedules and routines are help, so children know what happens next. And it also gives them a sense of security. So children are able to anticipate what will be next, and every day as they learn the schedule more, they're coming to school, they'll be able to not even look at the schedule and know what's next. That they just had circle and the next is centers, and after centers they get to go outside. And we also want to make sure that we reflect any schedules for children that we reflect other children's languages.
So now you can really analyze your schedule. You can take one that you've used this year. You can write one out that you've been thinking of using. This is really a chance to reflect on schedules in your classroom. So once you have your schedule in front of you, you're going to go through these different areas two at a time. Get your markers or pencils ready. It doesn't really matter what colors you use. We just pick 6 colors, as long as you have 6 different colors. So you're going to start with the top 2, active and calm. And you're going to go through your entire schedule and somehow mark either with a check or a star or a circle, red and blue or whatever colors you have, all the way down, active and calm. And once you do that, you're going to do the same thing with green and yellow. And you're going to go from the top down, large group or small group. And then the last pair you're going to do are teacher-directed and child-directed. And you're going to use 2 different colors and do that. What you're hopefully going to see, as Beth Ann was talking about, is some balance of all of these things. So you want to have the balance of active and calm, the balance of large group and small group, and the balance of teacher-directed and child-directed. And we've talked about it a little bit, and we're going to talk about it more. But it's very helpful if you can actually go through this exercise with your own schedule. It's also good to look at your schedule again several times during the year and see how things are going. Are there challenging behaviors that are frequently happening right before lunch? Put an X there. Maybe there's something you can look at to change that happening. Is it happening during circle time? Is it happening in the afternoon? We can really, just like we did with our physical environment, look at our temporal or time schedule to figure out where the areas are that we might need to make some adjustments. So once you've finished analyzing your schedule, you can move on to the next slide where you'll be joined by Beth Ann again. And you are welcome to pause this video if you need some more time to analyze your own schedule.
So consider for setting up your classroom schedule, again, as we kind of went through as you're reviewing your own schedule, is do you have a balance of active and quiet activities? Do you have a balance of large group and small group? Do you have a balance of child-directed and teacher-directed activities? And then do you also have activities that have a clear and structured beginning, middle, and end? So the balancing this really helps the flow of your schedule. So teaching the children routine, we can't expect that children to follow routine if we don't teach them. So again, those scheduling routines, this gives them a sense of what happens next. So again, really, really important. When children know what happens next, it makes them so successful.
Classrooms and other learning environments function best and provide the most opportunities for learning when they are organized and when children have interesting things to do. Schedules and routines help children know what to expect. They provide predictability. Schedules and routines enhance children's feelings of security. Children feel more secure and comfortable when they know what to do and what happens next. Schedules and routines can increase children's participation and engagement in learning activities. And so, schedules and established routines influence children's cognitive and social development. The schedule organizes the day. The main activities, such as arrival, group times, snacks and meals, free choice time, outdoor time, and departure, are divided into units of time. These time units provide enough time for the activity, and they occur in a regular and expected way.
What about circle? Almost done. Not quite yet. We got some time. Then we go to play court and the bathroom, where we sit down to eat
lunch.
When planning the schedule, the teacher considers the important activities that need to happen each day, as well as the sequence of the activities. The teacher also thinks about the importance of balance. Balancing or alternating active times and quiet times, small groups and large groups, and teacher-led activities with more child-initiated activities.
Our daily routine runs from 7:30 to 5:30. The children arrive in the classroom. They will sign their names in saying that they're here at school, no longer at home. They put their backpacks in their cubbies, and once they've washed their hands, they decide what activities that they would like to go to.
Routines are activities or procedures that occur regularly and involve a series of behaviors. Think about such common classroom routines as washing hands and getting ready for snack, or arriving in the classroom, putting away backpacks and coats, and getting ready to play. Routines also provide children with a sense of security and the knowledge of what comes next. Children don't automatically know the classroom schedule or routine. We need to teach them and let them practice.
So, let's see. Sammy, how should we move our bodies to our table today?
Hop.
Oh, we're all about hopping today. Hop to your planning tables. Hop, hop, hop.
One way that we teach schedules and routines is to use visual supports.
All right, read aloud is over.
Finish.
We post the schedule and use words and pictures to help children learn the sequence. We also model or demonstrate following the schedule or doing the routine. And we provide children with positive feedback as they remember and follow the schedule and do the steps of the classroom routines. This short presentation highlighted the importance of schedules and routines and the ways that schedules and routines contribute to a well-organized classroom and to children's learning. Schedules and routines provide children with the comfort and predictability that allows them to engage and focus their attention on learning activities, to explore, persist, and extend their learning. For more information and more examples of establishing and using schedules and routines, and guidance for promoting a safe and fun place to learn and thrive, check out our tips, tools, and resources. Have fun, and thank you for listening.
So we want to be able to teach the children the daily schedule, establish a routine, and follow it consistently. There are going to be times where there's something that happens in the day and there's a schedule change. Well, we just have to make sure that we tell children that there is it's a rainy day. So instead of going outside today, you could put next to the outdoor part of your schedule a surprise. So the surprise is you're going to do a game inside instead of being outside due to the schedule change.
By using a visual schedule, we're able to give the children a sense of what the sequence of the day is going to be. But we also have a history to the day. So each time we look at the schedule, we say first we played, and then what did we do? And I call on everybody. And if something happens that we have to change our schedule for any reason at all, so for instance, if it starts to rain. And then, Sophie, are we going outside today? No. Usually we go outside right after group, but not today. Today's a rainy, snowy day. I like to give them a chance to participate in what's happening during their day. And everything is not written in stone. There's a lot of flexibility. When our music therapist comes, we put the picture up, and they come in and they look at the schedule and they say, Music Gina's coming today. So it gives everybody that chance to spread good news. We're going to have group, and then we're going to have Music Gina. And it's very, very helpful in helping those kids organize themselves, but it's also very helpful in eliminating the amount of reminding and talking that the staff have to do.
So photography, visual schedule too is good. So if you are able to use a visual cue for all children, so asking also ideas from how adults can support children in learning schedules and routines. So be consistent with your schedule and routines. Support the children with verbal encouragement and positive touch as they go throughout the schedule of the day. So if everyone transitioned from one activity to another and it was so smooth, just make sure that you're encouraging them and giving, saying, boys and girls, what a wonderful job you did transitioning back to the rug after lunch. And then again, we always want to make sure that that visual schedule is posted that where every child could see it, and we refer to it when we need to. And then there are going to be some children that you're going to have to provide individual instruction for some children on the schedule. So transitioning outside is probably one of the hardest transitions I think children might have. So that's why we want to minimize the number of transitions that children have a day. We want to plan transitions so that they have minimal amount of time spent in them and that children are highly engaged during the transition. So if you are transitioning from the circle time or the rug to go outside or go to another area outside the classroom, make sure that we're moving children along in a pretty fast. That children aren't doing a lot of waiting for that transition, and more waiting that children do can exhibit challenging behaviors. So that is so important when we talk about transitions, minimal waiting time. So a teacher should always use structural transitions so children don't spend a lot of time waiting, as I was stating in the last slide. Challenging behaviors often occur most of the time during transitions, especially when all children are expected to do the same thing at the same time. So when this happens, children frequently spend time waiting without something to do. So they can then start sitting on each other and kind of poking each other, and they're getting bored because they've already sat for a while now, and now they're sitting for their next transition. So we want to be able to allow children to transition as they're ready, rather than waiting to transition at the same time. So again, we want to minimize time children are spent waiting to do something. Remember that young children follow a predictable pattern in learning new skills. This is a sequence that can be supportive for teachers as they plan their learning experiences. And we want to make sure that giving children opportunities at each phase along the way. Point that out, just as with the schedules. So young children benefit from displayed visual cues for transitions and waiting for turns. So especially those with special needs and for whom English is their second language. So visual cues can help with those children's anticipated transitions and assist them in knowing what to do during those transitions. And schedules are a tool. They are the biggest tool. They are the mechanism for helping young children learn self-management skills. And then children who are more competent at self-management are more likely to be able to manage their own arousal state, including their emotions. So remember that emotional regulation is one of the key skills children must learn in order to be social competent. So we might want to refer back to the Connecticut ELDS for emotional regulation in the domains and strands. So to look at that, at the environmental factors which supports this. So picture cues, routine, tasks, and choice. So offering children choices in their routines. So how does giving children choices support their transitions? How can we incorporate that into your classroom? So be cautious. Ask yourself, do we use these tools or have they become a part of the background? How can you adapt to these? What else can you do to apply these strategies? Any routine that can appear challenging for children, getting ready for going outside or sitting at the table, that's why visual cues are super important. Getting ready for school visuals. So really important is partnering with families on transitions at home, because a lot of times families struggle with keeping stable routines and also transitioning themselves into new routines and expectations of the morning as they're getting out the door. So there's a lot of great tools that can help families prepare for the child to go to school, the transition from home to school. And then also it provides a predictability with the schedule. So if families need help, the child gets up in the morning and the next thing is they have breakfast and then they get dressed and then they know that next is time for to go to school. So if we keep that same routine every day at home, it helps that what's going to happen next for young children. That's and how they think. So, and also too, and it's a smoother transition as we're getting to school. So as sometimes it may be hard for families to understand the importance of routines, really we're setting up a model as we have these routines at school that, look, families can try to do them at home as well. So putting into practice. So let's think about how visual cue supports could play a part in what you teach children and how you teach it. So you're announcing it's time for centers and a girl runs to go out the door yelling, "No, play out." What can you do to help support that child?
You may have thought of many ideas involving schedules and visual supports. One very effective visual for many children is the first then board. First then boards give children clear expectations and help motivate and assist with task completion. You can place a picture of the activity or activities the child needs to complete under first, and then place a picture of the rewarding or preferred activity under then. Using Velcro makes it easy to change pictures and turn each card over as the child completes the activity. You can use real photos of children, for instance, at circle time or outside on the playground. The first then format allows the child to focus on the current activity and rewarding activity without distraction. Teachers can use pictures for the first then board as needed. A first then board can be used to communicate a sequence of events or to reinforce completion of those non-preferred activities. First Then boards can be used in a variety of ways. They can assist with transitions from one activity to another, assist in completing non-preferred tasks by reinforcing with a preferred activity, like you see demonstrated here, breaking a large schedule or schedule of events into smaller steps. The First Then boards can be broken down into the two-step activities, so first clean up and then go outside, or they can be broken down into a sequence of steps followed by the reinforcer, like you see here. So first we use the bathroom, then we wash hands, and then we have the snack. So for this child, they do not prefer using the bathroom and washing the hands, but they do prefer the snack. And I do just want to add that it looks like the snack includes Oreos and peanuts, so we would not recommend that. But we would definitely recommend using a First Then board. So we've talked about transitions already, but transitions are a time when we often see challenging behavior. So let's just take a little bit more time thinking about visuals and how they can be used to support children during transitions. So remember, transitions occur anytime children move from one activity to another. For some young children, doing this, so moving from the bus to the classroom, centers to circle time, art time to lunch, results in confusion, frustration, and possibly challenging behavior. Planning for transitions includes developing routines and teaching children what to expect during the transition. This actually should be part of lesson planning. Transition routines help to prepare children for transitions, engage them in the change that is taking place, and helps them to move smoothly to the next activity. When children are able to participate in or lead the transition, they're excited and eager to move to a new activity. The more children can predict and participate in the schedule and activities of the day, the less likely it is that challenging behavior will occur, and more likely it is that they will engage in the transitions and make your day more enjoyable. We are coming to the end of this section, and this would be a good time for you to start looking around on challengingbehavior.org for all of the visual supports. When you go onto the website, you just click on the green resource tab at the top right of your screen, and then when you go below, you can enter all sorts of words to get to these kinds of resources. So if you put in the word visual, you will get many of the things we've talked about so far. You can put backpack in, and you will see these series. They're in English and Spanish, and this one is on how to use a visual schedule to help your child understand expectations. So this is a great way to partner with families. Take some time to really look at this website. You'll be amazed. So before you go, let's just do a breath break with JoJo Keene from Inspired Soul Studios. She's going to lead us on another idea for transitioning with children from an active to a quiet activity.
Let's go slow. Let's all go from fast to slow, clapping fast. Reach up high in the sky. Start to slow it down and bring it down. Count with me. 1, 2, 3. Go a little lower and clap a little slower. 1, 2, 3. Slow down even more. Reach for the floor. 1, 2, 3. Bring your hands to your knees. Tap with me. 1, 2, 3. Bring your hands home to your belly and breathe. 1, 2, 3.